No, sir, we can't see the slides.
Just let me see. Just let me try. What? Can you see the
Yes, sir.
slides now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are now just discussing how we will approach the approach to the overseas career, as well as to the approaches to NEET in short. I'm not going to elaborate too much, but I'll tell you why you should think about these options, and how to approach from the third year or the fourth year or the final year level to India as well. So I will initially 20 minutes I will concentrate on how to plan your career abroad, and the next 10 minutes you are all aware about NEET and next. So I will just discuss about a few things about NEET or next. So basically, I would, and then I will try to give you a video which is prepared by the who are a UK. We should, because the global scenario of medicine is much more than what you see in India, and the career options abroad is much more than what we see in India. I'm not saying India is anywhere inferior to that, but you should have a wider perspective and then come back and work in India. That will make you much better doctor than you are. I'm telling you, we have got one of the best the primary healthcare system, but advanced healthcare system. If you get trained somewhere abroad and come back, that will benefit you. And to go, is it after immediate or immediately after MBBS or immediately after your PG, or should we take PG and go? I would rather say both are ideal, depending upon the circumstances scenario you are in, right? Because if you have got contacts abroad, or your facility family or some cousins or some friends abroad, and even if you're getting married, I think that is the best way to catch up and go early and start establishing. Otherwise, you can always be guaranteed in practice, but doesn't matter carriers now. Okay, I'll tell you each one by one. So the question of whether we should go, I'm not telling medicine and is only about financial matters, but you need to survive, you need to fight your family, you need to move abroad, and you need to enjoy your life, and for that you need money for some reason. But never practice medicine for money when you are in India. That is an advice from me or a request from me. But always think about, because as a junior faculty or a junior career person, you are very much better paid in abroad than in India, right? And of course, family reason. As I said, if you're getting married, there is no option, you need to go. Or if you're finding some partner abroad, you need to go, isn't it? Or your family wants you to do abroad education or training. It is always now means the next 5 years. That is the time you are going to practice medicine after your MBBS. I will say why. Why I'm saying authentically, because I'm a recruiter for Royal College of Surgeons. My wife is a recruiter for Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and she's in UK. And all my friends are in key positions in various specialties. And all of them ask me, we want some graduates to work in college tutor. Her unit in University Hospital Durham initially had 9 registrars, and now she has got only 2 registrar trainees. So that means there is a vacancy of 7. So initially for 1 post there were 7 applicants. Now for 7 posts there is only 1 applicant. So that is a difference. So I rather feel because this is the right time in the next 5 years to encash upon that. If you can do that, that is a one good option for those people who wants to go abroad. Now, I have got friends who are working in Australia who are senior consultants at the point of time, and I prod with them because this is one place where I have not worked. I worked in US as a trainee for upper GI. I worked in UK in upper GI and liver transplant. But Australia, I got friends, and I checked with them what is the recent scenario. I will give the audios of the persons who are the available in. You are going with a MS or an MD. HMO entry means house medical officer entry means that is by when you are got a MBBS, right? After MBBS, right? Why I am telling you this is because with the NEET and next within getting confused and amalgamated these things, this should be the third option in your mind to think about moving abroad. Right. Now, when you talk about moving to Australia, you need three things. You need the AMC, that is the Australian Medical Council approval. You need the visa and you need the job. Only when you have all the three, or if you get one thing, which is basically an exam of 200 questions of EMQs, right? And then if you pass, then you get a visa for 2 years as a house medical officer, right? And as you finish your 2 years of a house officer job, you can apply for a specialist post, just like what we do it here. As a career progression to an MS or MD, that is what we call here. You can proceed as a general practitioner or a specialist in each branch, whether it is gynec, surgery, or medicine, right, or pediatrics, or whatever branch of your liking. And once you get into the training post, you go for 4 years as a general practitioner. But if you're doing a specialist as a surgeon or a medicine, general medicine people, you do a 3-year specialist job and a 3-year training job. That means it is just like completing our DM or an MCH, right? And you come out as a consultant. And I'll tell you, right from the beginning of a house medical officer, your pay is almost 7 to 8 times than what you get in India, right? So if you, and again, I am not a person who is money oriented, but I'll tell you, if you ask me, is it worthwhile to take a risk? I would rather say, if you have got the potential to do and the commitment to do, that is a risk which you can very well afford to. Now, that is about Australia. Now, coming to United Kingdom, which I said the easiest thing to do now, right? Because your opportunities are, they need doctors. They need real-time doctors for the next 10 years. And they have opened up every possible channel. They are conducting interviews in India to get people in, right? Specialists in. So once in next 2 years' time, by the time you finish your MBBS and house surgery, this is a time to click on that. So always think about that. Here also, you should get the General Medical Council registration and the visa and the job. I always say one easy option to get the visa sorted out is if you have got somebody in UK, who is either your family member or your spouse, or if you're getting married, that is the best option, because this big issue of visa getting sorted out. Then only thing you need to sort out is the GMC registration or General Medical Council registration and the job, which again, even though we talk a lot on saying that application and merits, most of the United Kingdom jobs goes by contacts and by knowing you. If people knows you, they give you the job. If they don't know you, they won't give you the job. They will try to. So always better to have to develop some contacts by the time you finish your MBBS. Right. Now, here what you need to do is you have got 2 axes of growing. One is as an MBBS graduate, second is as a specialist doctor, and third is the very important thing, that is the MTI initiative. Right. Now, you people are all young kids, so you want to know what an MBBS graduate has to do. I'll tell you what you need to do. As you are finishing, as you're doing your internship, just write your IELTS. Finish your IELTS, that is the English licensing exam, which I'm sure most of you will do well, and get a score of 7, right? And pass that and keep the score, and the score is valid for 2 years. Okay, so internship samayata, during internship, you finish your IELTS and get that 7 score, and then prepare for the licensing exam, that is called as the PLAB, right? Once you do the PLAB, think about going abroad by getting a job offer from an hospital or as an observer. And how to get an observership, again I tell you, that is by contacts, and get acquainted with the contacts, which even by a simple emailing about the consultants in general medicine, general surgery, or wherever, whichever branch you're inclined to do, just browse on the sites, get the consultant's name, get an email out, and if you request them, there is a likelihood that you will always end up with a observership. And once you get an observership and people likes you, they will offer a job. So in summary, for a newly qualified doctor, I would rather say, please write down what you need to do is IELTS and PLAB. And then get a registration with the GMC. Then get a job offer or an observership from a UK hospital, which again by way of parents or somebody's consultants, somebody consultant friends. And then do a competitive, apply the visa to work in UK, and then competitive entry to training post. Competitive entry to training post means that it is just like a progressive channel. You don't have to have another exam. But what you need to do is you finish your 2-year training in medicine, apply for MRCP, and then apply for a job in as a registrar trainee in medicine. If you get it, you are into the channel. You go for a continuous 5 years course and get a final consultant post or a consultant certificate, that is certificate of completion of training, right? And once you are completed training, I will say that next 5 to 10 years, you are guaranteed of a consultant jobs. I was hesitant when I was initially doing this. That is when it was in 99, when I went to abroad to UK to finish my FRCS. And then I wanted to practice there. But unfortunately, because I had to come back, because I had a little one who was almost identical to your age. She was born. And my wife was doing her PG in JIPMAR. So I wanted to be beside her and opted out of UK career. And then started working here. Then I had to go back and redo the whole thing to get back a consultant post. But for you and my friends who went on in 99, they're all senior consultants holding senior most post in UK in various hospitals. They are all Malayalis. They studied in very, very mediocre schools of Malayalam medium schools. And we all have done that. And then they have acquired it and they have acquired this program. So it is not an impossible task, right? And for a specialist, if you have got a spouse who is an MS or an MD, male or a female, after some time, they can always have a direct entry. They get only a minimum 3 years desirable training, and then they can get in. But basic idea of IELTS remains exactly the same, but they need not have the PLAB. They can get a direct job offer and enter into the training, right? And a doctor with a specialist experience, for example, a person like me, who have done an FRCS, or a person who has done an MCH, they have got something called as an MTI, that is a medical training initiative route, where you are not applying to the post to UK. They will come and search for you. Only thing is you can offer them a job and they will do the rest with you. Interview will be happening in India and you can get an employer visa for 2 years. And from that again, I'll tell you, once you go there and start working with Indian training, with an Indian training and our clinical knowledge and ability to work, you are almost assured of progressing further. Only very few people I will say that it is, even though I say 99.9% of people will do well when you get an MTI job. But I'm very sorry to say that I had one of my relatives who was an anesthetic and a critical care specialist who went to UK and worked as an MTI trainee. He could not cope up because now with the COVID era now, and I think he was a failure in that regard. But I am talking about 99.9% of people going on an MTI screen progress and work as a consultant in UK. So it is not an impossible task. If a person who like me can do it, I think any single one intelligent students like you can always do. Only thing you should have is you should have the career option in your mind when you start learning, not just an identical channel of appearing for entrance, then doing an MS, and then trying to find a job. I think you should think ahead, right? That is the reason why I'm today, because this is one thing as I wanted to tell you. And coming to US, it is all crystal clear. You have to do a USMLE and try to get a job, right? These are almost identical. And US, you need to finish USMLE step 1, 2, and 3, and then get into a residency program, right? And I would say the easiest way to get to USMLE clearance is to join. There is a coaching program of Kaplan, and Kaplan will tell you exactly what to do, and it will tell you the right score, because never attempt USMLE without a proper coaching, because the system is entirely different, right? So Kaplan series is a very good option. You have to read almost all the books you have read aside and start NMS series to prepare for USMLE. NMS series books are essential for preparation for the USMLE, right? So this is an approach in that regard. So USMLE, that is a way to approach for USMLE programs, and each step you need to have it is a percentile scoring system. It is not a percentage scoring system or a ranking system. It is, if 100 people appear, it is a percentile scoring system that applies in USMLE. Right. Now, coming to what we commonly do or what we commonly approach, that is the NEET. And the next that is coming up, which is supposed to replace NEET in the next 2 years of time. I would rather say that from the outset, I would say that none of you should be worried about the change, because I'm sure the people who are sitting now and listening to me will be of a student caliber of high end, right? Whether that means you will be a moderate student, or you are a good student, or you can be an excellent student or an exceptional student. I think for you people, it's not to be worried at all, right? For you people, it is an easiest or a best way if it changes from NEET to next, right? Because you have been studying your undergraduate days well, you have been performing reasonably well in your first year MBBS, second year MBBS, and now to the final year MBBS, and that is just replicated in the next exam part 1, right? And next is crucial for students who are below moderate level, right? That is what I feel, because I always tell my students who are with me that start to learn the basics right. And if you learn the basics right and do well in your final year exam and work well during your internship, you are guaranteed of a postgraduate seat, right? I'm sure that most of you will be attending different sort of coaching programs of the DAMS or Bhatia or any coaching program now. I've been associated with this coaching program from the moment this entrance scenario has come up in India in the year 2000, right? 1999 it started, and I was a chief coordinator of alumni for all these training programs. Now, because it will be incomplete for me if I don't tell you what you need to expect if it is going to happen. But no, it is again not clear when exactly it is going to happen, even though it is told that 2022 will be a next exam rather than the NEET PG, right? But for though I am sure that most likely some of you will be. I will answer your messages after this, because I'll just spend 5 minutes to answer your questions once I finish my presentation. I hope that is okay, right? So once you finish your NEET, once you finish your the undergraduate exams, then you may be sometimes facing NEET again, because exact dates for appearing the next exam is yet to be announced. Now, what do you expect in NEET? In NEET in next is basically divided into 2 parts, the next one and the next 2, as you're all aware, isn't it? The next one and the next 2, right? And what is next one? Next one means nothing else. What you have to do, what is planned is, you are doing your first year as you are, and you will be having an exam by the Kerala University of Health Science or whichever university you are. Then you move, when you pass that, you will have the second year, and then that is also assessed by a university exam. You will be assessed on the third level on the third year, that is again by the university. But as you finish your final MBBS, you will have a unified next exam part 1, that will be across all over India, and that will be applicable to all the outside India candidates also. And this exam is a 3-day exam of subjects of medicine, surgery, and obs and gynae on one part in the morning, which is of 120 marks, and you will have another half in the afternoon, which will be mainly by pediatrics, ENT, and ophthalmology, right? And these will be all MCQ or EMQ based exam, and their distribution is basically problem solving to 60%, concept oriented to 30%, 20%, and there will be 20 to 10% on the basic physiology, anatomy, as well as on the preventive medicine aspect. Okay, so basically once you finish the next part 1, you will progress to internship. Only if you, just like your final exam, only if you pass pattern the next one, you will move to the internship. There is no practical in that, and that score you score on the next one is eligible for your postgraduate selection. And once you do that, you proceed to
Sorry for the technical delay. We'll be restarting the session soon.
hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Hello?
Hello, sir. You're audible.
Okay, I'm audible. So basically, that is what you need to think about. That is, it's not going to make much difference in your total approach with regards to your MBBS. The learning aspect is concerned. So once you finish your internship, you will have a second clinical assessment, right? And the clinical assessment will be decided whether you are passing and proceeding to your PG level, right? And I am also being told that it takes away the importance of another entrance after your internship. So I actually have closed the screen. Because I think it is not necessary. So I've just closed the screen for the time being, right? Because the PowerPoint is not necessary. So whether it is NEET or next, my sincere, because I've been associated with the entrance coaching program for the last 20 years, and I've been the chief academic coordinator. What to tell you guys are, just try to remain in the reading loop all the time with an intent of approaching for this exam. Nothing has changed. If you have got a concept, you have to just learn the concept of learning medicine rather than mugging it up. And since you are just into the final year, give good thrust to ENT and ophthalmology, because ENT and ophthalmology carries around 60 marks of the next one if it is while it is going to happen. Now, Mrinalini has asked, sir, what about 2016 batch? Will we have your next or NEET? I would rather say that we really don't know what is going to happen in the next year. It was supposed to come in year 2022. But the problem now is, with the COVID issue going on, most of the systems are altered, right? If everybody has gone into a phase of going upside down in the planning, right? So I don't know what MCA is going to come out with, but you people has to be ready with it. And again, I don't think that there is no reason for you to panic. All you need to do is consolidate the topics when you read, or consolidate the subjects as you read. If you can read that well, then you don't have to worry whether it is a NEET or next. If I am a student, I will be more happy if I appear for next, because that will be easy for me to do well. I just have to read well during my final year time, and I can very well do well in my clinical exam, later clinical thing. So I would rather say that next for good student, it is a good option. But of course, you need to plan ahead and plan reading. Whether it is next or NEET, I tell you, start learning when you are learning medicine. There is no way that you should think that I will learn medicine after I finish my MBBS, sit 1 year entrance coaching in DAMS or Bhatia, and then I will get through. That is a wrong idea. It will take time. I'm telling from my experience. I've been with around 20,000 odd students over the last 20 years on entrance aspirants, and I have to tell you that you need to read well now. Then, because you consolidate as you are learning, right? So that is what you need to do. And I would rather say that the content of my talk for today was basically how to approach we need to when you go abroad, and how to approach when you plan for NEET and next. I would like to have one more interactive session with you at some point of time. I will ask Augmenta people to arrange, because if you have got questions, please do send them, and I will be ready to come out with answer. Canada, Jagriti was asking about Canada. Canada is almost identical to USMLE, to US. And again, Canada is one country where your visa issues are easily sorted. Visa issues, it is easily sorted to Canada. Canada visa is easy, and their licensing exam is almost identical to USMLE, right? Identical exam to USMLE. Now, Adara was asking about the cost of applying to US, UK, and Australia. I will take one by one. In Australia, the exam cost is around, when you start applying for the part 1 of AMC, that will cost you around, I don't know exact figures, but it will be around 1,000 Australian dollars, 1,000 Australian dollars. And then you have to apply, and once you clear that, you go to the part 2. So if you can spend around 2,000 Australian dollars, you will be able to finish the exam. And that initial costing, don't worry, because as soon as you get a job, your first pay will clear all the debits, because your first pay will be something around 2,000 to 2,500 in each country you are planning to do, right? Then, sir, won't cracking a PLAB confirms the job? I would say that PLAB at this point, if you crack, it confirms the job, because there is a lot of vacancy abroad, lot of vacancies in UK. So once you finish the PLAB and then apply, you will be guaranteed a job in UK. I can guarantee that for the time being, because for the next 5 years, you will be guaranteed the job. Now, another question is it to do PG in abroad, and is it possible like residency? And again, if you are eligible to get PG straight on the first time in India, take it. But if you are fighting a battle of getting a PG for 3 times, I think go abroad and finish your residency. That is much more easier than getting a PG in India. Right, that is it. Now, for what all countries specialist entry is available? Specialist entry is available in almost all countries. Specialist entries are available in UK, US, Australia, Canada, if you have got an MS or an MD. So, one option is choose a partner who has got one of these and push him or push her and then go with it. Right, that is one thing. Or then you go for it. Now, when should one join coaching? Is online coaching is a good chance? That is a delicate question to ask. I am not a person who favors online coaching, to be very frank with you, if you ask me personally. Because online coaching, by mugging up thing, will not benefit you in any of the scenarios you are going to face in specialist exam. And you need, whatever subject you are learning, you need to learn the concept oriented. So I would rather prefer contact classes, but as the situation is evolving, contact classes are not possible at this point of time. So you will have to resort to some sort of a live interactive forums. But again, I would say that most of the live interactive, because I've been part of many of the live interactive forum classes and contact classes all over India. And now I would rather see that most of the online forums which you are applying and learning has got lot of fallacies, right? So better think about it and then apply. All you need to start doing is, you don't think that your friend is doing, so I need to go for Bhatia or DAMS. All you need to do is consolidate what you're learning with your curriculum. If you can, I'm telling you because I have done that, and I'm not an exceptional guy at that initial days. I have done it with that. So that is what I said. Of course, if you have got enough and more money, just join anywhere you want. But again, online coaching is not going to benefit you much, because as I am talking to you now, I feel that it would have been better if I am talking to you directly with you, isn't it? On live forum, on a contact program, rather than contacting through the live thing. Now, about Ireland and Canadian preference for Canadian citizens in Commonwealth countries, I would say that Ireland is as UK. There is no difference between the two. Canada is almost open at this point of time, but again they will try to reduce and increase. Now, I have got a very good question from Hasna asking about civil service after MBBS. I would rather say that is one bright option you should think about. Why I am crazy about civil service, or for me, because I wanted my daughter to be a civil servant. She didn't choose medicine, so I have got no option now, and she's abroad. It was a dream job which I would have taken when my parents would have let me to do at that point of time. And I've been working as a senior administrator in government sector now, and to see passionate doctors holding civil service. And I think that is one of the important. Even though people say that you will be a scapegoat in front of politicians, but if you are good, the politicians respect you and will be with you. So civil service is an exceptional option for a medical graduate, because you have got one advantage over the rest, that you have got a subject knowledge, right? And you are not scapegoats who just walked into medicine. You have fought your battle and got into medicine. Your credibility is there. It is easy for you to crack the civil service. So always think about civil service. If you have got that option in mind, I'll be learning. I'll be always advising. And as Mrinalini was asking, if we are learning our basics well, is coaching necessary during MBBS? I would say an outright no. There is no need for coaching. And I've seen people who are getting coached and with me is getting totally confused what to learn, right? And they'll be a big failure if they continue without learning the basic concept of clinical medicine and practical medicine in the ward. They'll be listening only to DAMS classes or the Bhatia classes, which you can learn from the books if you're a good student. Concept-oriented learning from the wards will be totally missing. So if you're a good student and you've got the capacity to learn the basic well, because 60% of the next questions are concept oriented, right? And And whatever NEET questions are asking now is from the ward. 30 to 40% questions are from the ward. So I would rather say, I've got 5 PGs who have attended no postgraduate program and in doing his PG. My wife, at that time, that was around 15-20 years time, she didn't attend any coaching program but got 42 rank in All India. That doesn't mean that it is because she was too good, but she had the concepts ready, and even that concept is important. So basically, all you need to do is you have get the basics right. Work in the ward, be in the ward, present cases, learn by the scenario, not by the mugging up of various classes and cross notes. DAMS give you 300 pages notes for biochemistry and surgery. That is not enough to learn medicine, right? I'm not against DAMS or Bhatia or any coaching center, but I would rather say these coaching centers are not the final answer to any one of you. For your success in future, you have to learn the concepts well by your teachers, by the side of your patient, spend time in the ward and learn more. Right. So that is what a sincere advice from me to all of you, because if you do that, that is it. Now, let me go through. Sir, we can take it as if NEET, we should prepare all 19 subjects, and if it is next, it is just 6 subjects and the relied one, and maybe some basic knowledge in pre and paraclinical like anatomy and physiology. Vishnu, which I want to tell you is, and I said you concentrate on ENT and ophthalm. Very true, Vishnu, because when I say basics, what is surgery basically? Surgery basically means it is around 20 to 30% anatomy. It is 10 to 20% physiology. If you don't know physiology, you don't know how to manage a post-operative patients. And the same thing happens in the questions also. If you don't know the basic fluid of gastric secretions, I was asking my PGs and house surgeons yesterday on evening post-operative rounds, asked for surgical physiology based. I was asking about gastric secretion, their component, where does it is coming from, what is the milliequivalence of sodium, what is the milliequivalence of potassium. So you cannot take away physiology from surgery. You cannot take away anatomy from surgery. So you should read all these subjects if you want to perform well in next also. So you cannot take it off. Then Vishnu, why I said ENT and ophthalm was, ENT and ophthalm itself carries 60 marks. In the NEET exam which we are appearing now, you have 7 questions of ENT and 7 to 10 questions of ophthalm. But from that, you are going to 60 questions of ENT and ophthalm and pediatrics, right? So that means it's a huge volume. That is why I said, when you are learning ENT and ophthalmology, don't learn it as you used to learn in olden days. Not just the whatever is required. You need to learn a little more in depth about ENT and ophthalm. And what about being an army medical officer? Army medical officer is excellent provision of an army medical officer. It is a country's pride, right? And once you do an army medical officer, you get a 5-year job. And if you well, you can even get that to be extended to 20 years, and you can get a PG as well. So please, if you have got that option in mind, Ramya, that is again a respectable job, and that is a good. Why again? When I relate everything to me, because my grandfather was a brigadier, my father's elder brother was a brigadier, my brother-in-law is a brigadier. He's commanding Leh at this point of time. So army runs in my blood, and if somebody wants to ask me whether should I join army, I'll always say that is an option you should have. Of course, you will be limited and crammed in certain centers, but your option to progress further is also high, and you get a hierarchical respect all throughout. Now, will the pattern change in next or increase the questions of clinical types in USMLE? I will say that the questions will be not like USMLE. If you have got access to JIPMER questions now, JIPMER entrance questions now, that will be the pattern that will be for next. Almost questions will be big, but the answers will be small. All you need to learn is a concept. If you read USMLE books, you will get a lot of questions. That is also fine. Now, Mrinalini has asked another one important question, that is about research in after MBBS. I would rather say it is the research should not be after MBBS. Research should be together with MBBS. You can research on anything. Let it be a very simple thing you think about. And there is a saying that if you don't publish, you will perish. And you might have seen your teachers publishing for promotion. I'm not a person who would advise you to do that. Research has to come with a passion. It needs a lot of commitment, right? And I tell you, the researchers do well when you go abroad or when you go outside the small spectrum what you see. Because you are putting your mind in on a different thing. And if a medical student can think about research during undergraduate days, you have got the STS program of ICMR, right? Try to do one research. Try to get one publication. And when you get one publication in, that changes your CV altogether. Whatever you do before is not counted. But once you finish your research and get a publication through, that makes a big difference in your life. It has made a big difference in my life. Again, I'm relating to that because of my Professor Dattan, who had this vision when I was an MBBS student. He told me to do research. He told me to do publish. He helped me to publish. And because of his pushing on me, at that time I was irritating, but I was feeling irritated. But his vision has pushed me to this level, right? Push me to this level. So basically, that is what research, if you have got in mind, please do. And Akshay has asked, what will you prefer, preparing for PLAB or looking at a job abroad after doing PG in India? Akshay, I think I have answered that question well. If you are committed to want to go abroad and you're sure that is your task, go for it. You will get it. Okay, that is what my friends did. When I was a student, I was reluctant to go abroad straight on, so I finished my PG and went. And then I had to come back. But most of my friends went straight ahead, and finished their MBBS, and they have done very well. So that is what you need to do. So always think about that. Now, sir, how to get through the army hospital? Can we straight away go after MBBS, or do we need any master? Remy, I will just probe it once more. I am not in a position to straight away answer that question, but definitely I will get back to you. You can mail me on my email, ravimen@gmail.com, ravimen@gmail.com. I can get back to you the answer because I just want to know a little more into that detail before I commit to you. Then Mrinalini has again asked, is ICMR STS is important, but what about those who cannot do STS, you cannot get STS? I think ICMR STS is as important as any research forms. So it is not mandatory that you do ICMR. You can do research in other forums. For state government student like from Kerala, they can very well do with SPMR, State Bureau of Medical Research, which will be there for other states also. Importance of having a funded agencies is that when you do a funded project first time in your life, that means you are a genuine researcher, and that increases your credibility. That is why I always ask my kids to apply for ICMR or SBMR and makes them do, and some of them are published as first authors under me. That is because once you do that, then your credibility goes up like anything, right? Anything. So that is why you need to think about it. And Anna has asked about, is there any opportunity to work in EU countries? I will say EU countries are exploring and increasing they want more people. But for the time being, with the Britain leaving Brexit, for the next 2-3 years, it will be a little tight because most of the European country candidates are working abroad in UK. They will all come back to their home countries. So the system is likely to get crammed in EU. But if you have got somebody who can take you to EU and apply, I think you can very well do that. Right. Now, can you please explain more about locking the PG seat before starting internship? Or if you want to study abroad, what should we do then? Locking means doesn't mean anything. If you get your next one and get a PG seat, eligibility of PG seats, I don't think you can lock it. And even if you lock it, is it locking or looking? It is okay. I'm starting internship. If you can look, if you can lock it, that is fine. Only thing is, if you want to unlock and go, you may have to pay some money. If you get a better option abroad, I think you should take it because as I see, the career is quite wide around. Okay, outside India. So always back of your mind, always think about the career abroad, and that will do will do you good. I'm very happy to be with you all because it was a very interactive session, and I think whatever I've conveyed is helpful to you. I will share this PowerPoint. I'll share your video also of video also regarding that. And if anybody wants to have an extension of this program tomorrow or day after, I'm more than happy to share, to discuss with you regarding various other options also. Maybe you can fix it up with Augmenta people. I'm more than happy to do because I can guide you which brand is ideal for your future perspective according to your future of choice or your choice. My email is ravimen, RAVIMEN @gmail.com. My phone number is 94470 40431. So if you want to check with me regarding anything, I'm more than happy to guide you. I'm the Chief Academic Coordinator for Alumni Program of TMCA for the last 20 years, and now moving into the postgraduate level, and I'm the Professor of Surgery. So I'm once again extremely thankful to you being with me for some time. It was indeed a refreshing experience. I thank Nandita, Huda, and all the team members of the College Union for allowing me to be with you all. Wish you all the very best. Be free. You can interact with me at any point of time for guidance or any suggestions. I'm more than happy to be with you all. Thank you so much. Take care and have a good day. Good night, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.